What's going on, everybody? It's Doran here from Sunrise Gaming, coming back to you with another weekly podcast known as Overwatch Overtime. Just a few reminders before we get started. This podcast tends to get a little ranty, especially as we break down certain things that are happening, especially with community-related stuff. Things get a little ranty. We tend to go on a lot of tangents. This is purely a podcast. There is no gameplay or anything in the background, just probably a picture that I took in the middle of an Overwatch game when I should have been paying attention. Whatever. Who cares? So, if you have stuff to do, need to get anything cleaned up, need to make dinner, or it's pretty late at night when we're recording this podcast because we got a little delayed today. Whatever. Maybe you need to fix some dinner. Maybe you need to eat some breakfast. Maybe you need to go to sleep. Take care of yourselves, people. We're looking out for you here at Sunrise Gaming. We have a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff happening this week. A lot of stuff going on with the World Cup, which we will be bringing up as well. Lax and I are going to break it all down for you guys. Sit back, relax, or put us in the background and get your chores done. This is Overwatch Overtime. Lax, ready for you to lead it off.
All right, so what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the game updates or what possible things are becoming in the future?
You already want to do speculation? I think we should just start with, what's going on in the world.
Well, we finally got the date for the Doomfist release, so that's nice.
Yes, next Tuesday.
Very excited for that. How do you think it's going to... Do you think he's going to... Well, first of all, have they said that he's going to be available for competitive right away, or is it...
They would never do that.
So. Okay.
No.
So that'll be cool. I'm excited for that. So far, the way he is a PTR will be released. He did have that, not a nerf, more like just a bug fix to his movement to where he couldn't just get to absolutely insane places.
Right.
So that's good. I think he'll be an interesting addition. I can't wait to play him. I think, isn't it Roadhog that's going to be getting a few buffs?
Roadhog's getting a couple changes. Apparently what they did when they gutted him and nerfed him to the ground was a little too severe, and the Roadhog mains went to the forums and let Jeff have it. Jeff took it in response, and, Roadhog mains, I know.
Don't get me started on Roadhog mains.
Oh, yeah, well, we're not going there, so stay on topic. He's going to get a couple buffs. I didn't see what they were, did you?
I did not.
That's why you were asking. Yeah.
We can look that up in a second. But Ryan got a slight a buff, I guess you would say.
Would you consider it a buff?
Yeah, I mean he swings faster and his charge is now basically more accurate. So if you hit something, it's much more likely that you're going to pin it rather than push it out of the way.
Okay.
So I would definitely say that's a buff. I don't know if that's necessarily going to bring him into the meta.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a buff, but is it really going to change anything with this dive-heavy meta?
I don't think so, but there are a couple maps where taking Ryan is kind of legit, especially at the lower ranks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in those scenarios it's definitely going to help, but if you're on attack and you're not taking Ryan out the gate, or if you're not taking Winston out the gate, it's probably not the best idea.
Right.
I hate saying, oh, yeah, you got to play this one character, but Winston is just really good right now. Same with D.Va. But D.Va can play with really anybody.
That's for sure.
So I think the Ryan buff is overall a buff. I don't think it's going to bring him into the meta. I don't think it's going to shake up anything. But I am excited to be able to pin a little bit more people when I am finally getting back to playing Ryan, because I haven't played him that much, which is weird because you look at my profile and it's like the majority of my hours are on Ryan.
I know.
Because in the previous meta, right before, Winston was just, dominating, Ryan was still pretty good, and at the lower ranks he was really good, so we were using him a lot. So being able to maybe go back to Ryan would be nice. I don't mind. I like hitting people with hammers, so that's always fun. So that's some of the character game updates. Now, what do you think about this new comic?
The Masquerade comic.
Yes.
I liked it. I really liked it.
Awesome.
It was interesting. It really, a lot is still mysterious.
Yeah.
About Talon. Talon's a very mysterious organization.
Yeah.
But I will have to say, I like how they portrayed Maximilian, one of the leaders of Talon. I assume he's one of the leaders. He's not.
Yeah.
They're not all leaders. They're all probably sitting together on a couple of things here.
Right.
Doomfist is focused on, bringing humanity into this new age and whatnot, whereas I think Maximilian is more interested in the money aspect of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know? Now,
Oh,
did you pay attention to what Maximilian was doing at the table, the gambling? Or
I
what,
thought
were-
he was
what,
just,
what were they
what
playing?
was he doing?
What were they
They were
playing?
playing. I actually don't know. What were they playing?
I don't remember. But did you notice he wasn't actually playing?
No, what was he doing?
Omnics aren't allowed to gamble in casinos in this world
Uh-huh.
because they are supercomputers
Oh,
and
shit.
they can calculate the margin of
Right.
error for everything and figure it all out. I found that
Right.
interesting because if you look it through the comic, no Omnic is playing on the tables. It's humans only.
Right.
Omnics are working the tables.
So what was he doing?
He was just there to meet Doomfist, is what I believe.
Oh,
He was
shit.
just there. That was just a place that they meet. I loved his suit.
Right.
He looked cool. I loved the red eyes, definitely giving away more of an evil sort of look. But
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting to see. So, um, what else I want to talk about with it? You saw the masquerade skins that everybody was wearing.
Mm-hmm. Sombra
Uh,
got some.
Everybody got
I think the
some.
Sombra's pretty cool.
The Sombra one is pretty cool. Doomfist and Reaper and
Reapers is cool.
Reapers is very cool, and all of Talon got those. I wouldn't be surprised if those become actual skins in the future. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all in all, I like how Doomfist is kind of, now that he's back, he's taking charge. He's asking
Yeah.
Maximilian for a loan of money, and then he killed that guy who was like telling him, oh no, things are gonna go our way, and then Doomfist is
Yeah.
like,
Just throws him off the edge.
screw you, we're gonna do it my way.
First of all,
So
what the heck was that guy thinking? He was just gonna go and tell this huge guy, "Oh
yeah,
yeah,
like
no, go screw
yeah,
yourself,
no, go
bud."
screw yourself, buddy. You're only 400 pounds heavier than me
Yeah,
and
like well,
3 times my size. Like, no.
smart guy there, huh?
What an
Yeah.
idiot. So, I see how talent works. It's obviously survival of the fittest. Whoever has the most
Yeah.
money or the most strength is in control. So right now it's definitely Maximilian and Doomfist. And
'Cause it is an organization, but it's not like they all report to somebody. It's
right,
like all these
there's
different
probably
leaders
no head of
congregate.
Talon.
Yeah, that's not what it looks like, at least.
It's like they all meet together and stuff. Shadow organization. I like it.
I like it a lot. From that, do you think you might? I mean, some people rumor that Maximilian might be the next character. I don't think that's true, but do you think we might get another Talon operative?
We will be getting more Talon operatives. There's no doubt about it. We have to have the good and the bad in this game,
Yeah.
even though they don't. It doesn't really matter, but for story purposes,
Yeah.
because it's cool that they get to make a hero every time. But then it's nice every once in a while to bring in a villain or like a shit gray area, like a chaotic good character. Bringing these guys in that are a little bit different. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, in the future, I wouldn't be surprised if we get more Talon operatives. Let's see, what else? What else did I want to say about the comic? Um, so it's clear that Maximilian is the one who equipped Doomfist with the cybernetics and whatnot to wield the Doomfist.
Right.
But here's what I was thinking: the Doomfist chooses you, right?
Yes.
Because it chose that little kid, and then it chose the savior and the scourge and whatnot that you see in Nimbani all the time.
Yeah.
Do you think that the cybernetics are forcing the Doomfist to work for Doomfist?
What do you mean?
Because the Doomfist, the device, the physical fist itself, chooses who it goes to.
Right.
Or do you think it just latched onto him because of his cybernetics when he stole it? Because couldn't it? I don't know the whole lore
But, I mean,
behind
he's
the
able to use
Doomfist.
it.
He's using it, right? But I'm wondering
Yeah.
if the cybernetics that Talon made for him are forcing the Doomfist to work.
I mean, that's very highly what's it?
So I'm speculating
Speculative.
way out in left
But
field
yeah,
here.
I think you might be onto something.
But then again, I think the Doomfist respects power, and that
Yeah.
since Doomfist
And
himself
strength.
relies on strength and power, I think that's why it's working for him as well. I don't know. That was just something to think about.
That's interesting, though. That's an
Just
interesting little
yeah. I was browsing Reddit. Some people were discussing that. It's a possibility. So
Love
yeah, I thought I tweeted out a question on my private Twitter about that. Got
it.
one response. The guy said, "Go screw yourself." So
There you go. Gotta love
whatever.
Twitter.
Gotta love Twitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good comic. Brought in more of Talon and how they operate and whatnot. They definitely
Yeah.
operate in the underground, in the shadows, sticking away from Overwatch and whatnot. So,
Hmm.
but I do see them. I like how Sombra. He was like, "We have a problem with Sombra," and then Maximilian was like, "No, we don't. I've got her under control."
Yeah,
Like
like they
he
already
knows what
know.
she's doing and he's okay with it because he sees it as ambition.
Yeah, and that can come because
Because that'll
she
be
from what we
useful.
can tell, we can see that she's not really motivated by good or evil, just information and the highest buyer. So
Yeah,
he
and I
knows.
think Maximilian will find a way to twist that to his
Oh yeah,
advantage.
oh yeah,
So
definitely. Yeah, hopefully Sombra can make it out because I mean she does work for talent, but we all like Sombra.
everybody
She's pretty
likes.
cool.
She's
Everybody likes
cool.
Sombra.
So, but yeah, that's about it for the comic. It's really good. If you guys haven't checked it out, excuse me. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you do. It's awesome. It's
Oh yeah.
called The Masquerade. It's really cool. You'll love their outfits.
Oh yeah, I think it's
So,
great. One other thing that we saw, it was like in like a video or something, where it looked like Sombra and a couple other characters had different types of like gun skins or camo for their guns, something that was like different than their normal one.
so that was
Um,
during the Doomfist
it was like
video.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What do you think that's going to be a possibility? Do you think that's going to be the other reward that Jeff is talking about?
It's got to
Um,
be.
because it wouldn't really because we've always talked about like there's not much of a reward for playing competitive except for I mean if you get Type 500 that's great, but you get the golden weapons, that's about it.
Now
So
that
do you
we're
think that
five
might be it?
seasons in, I
Hmm.
don't. Sorry, but now that we're 5 seasons in, I don't think that golden weapons are great because now like this the fifth season. If you played enough in the previous seasons, bronze level players
Yeah,
now have golden weapons.
yeah,
It used to be prestigious because if you made top 500 or grandmaster the first season, you got
yeah,
you got a golden gun.
yeah.
So I don't think it has as good of things nowadays. Is like not as prominent or as respected as it is
Right.
now. So I mean, we joke around with it,
Hmm.
but for the most part, nah. I
Yeah,
hope
but
the weapon customization is the future.
yeah, I think that would be cool. Getting different kinds of like skins or like for the guns or other cosmetic things like that would be really cool. It's kind of a reward for playing competitive or just playing in general. I think would be really cool.
hmm It
Some of
just,
them look pretty cool too.
I mean, it's just for your like, cause what do you really see with your skin? You just see the weapon that you're
Yeah,
using. You
yeah,
don't see
exactly.
anything else. So I think it
Hmm.
would be a good idea to get, weapon customization, just so that we can, play around and color
Hmm.
them differently and whatnot. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be cool. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Hopefully that comes out. So next, I want to talk about kind of something that we have run into um, in our gameplay, and like we usually talk about the meta in these podcasts, but this is a little bit more specific because the meta hasn't really shifted a whole lot since the last podcast. So currently, we all know it's very dive heavy, very Winston Diva heavy. Genji Tracer, still Soldier. Soldier's definitely still viable.
Yeah.
Um, so one, I'll just go ahead and open with this. We had a guy, two guys that were in a duo. Me and Doran were duoing here,
Are you gonna talk about the
and
ones that they like fought with us, but we still won?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. This
yeah,
is
yeah,
this is
yeah.
good. Go ahead. Yeah.
This is hilarious to me. Um, so as you guys know, I'm kind of a tank main. That's what I've kind of picked up. Doran pretty much just plays everything. So they had picked up the support, and then two like solo cures were on the DPS, and we were on. I was on Winston, he was on Diva. Doran was on Diva, and the reason that works really well because Doran knows when I jump that I'm probably because I jump kind of far. He knows that I'm going to need the Matrix, so he follows me in as generally a tank should. It's kind of
That's how you do
dependent
it.
on. It's dependent, but yeah, most important. Usually, how it happens is the Diva's going to Matrix the Winston so he can get out of there. Um, so we were on attack. on Hollywood. Now, the first point was kind of an issue because
Turtled.
they were super turtled. It was a triple queue that had Orisa, Bastion, and Torb, or maybe I think it was a Mercy instead of the Bastion. Anyways,
But
so
they
they
had a
were like so
Reinhardt, Mercy.
yeah, and they had a Reinhardt and like something else, and basically it was the three of them on top of the little like moving like elevator thing, and then like the Reinhardt would like every now and then touch the point so that we couldn't just take it. So we were struggling to figure out what to do because we would go around behind, but then of course the Torp turret can see us. And I probably should have gone Brian just to give us a little bit of more protection so that our DPS can set up. But we had a Pharah that got good positioning. It took us a while, but we broke through that. And as soon as we broke through it, see the thing is if you don't let a team turtle like that, they can't do much because the Torb that doesn't have his turret's not going to do a whole lot. He's really just a shitty version of Reaper, like a really shitty version. Still good, but like not that good. And obviously, if you can't have an Orisa that's like holding a point, like Orisa on the move is not very good because
Mm-hmm.
she can't line up her shots, she can't do her halt ability that well. And I was on Winston, which means the her golden form is really negligent because I'm not charging at her. So the whole time I'm telling my group like let's push because I know if they set up because it takes a couple seconds for the cart to actually move towards the actual main point where you're going to be fighting. If we give them that time to set up, it's not going to work. And we had kind of staggered them, so they had started to trickle. And me and Doran are punishing them, and I think we had like a Genji or something with us that was, or it was the Pharah. The Pharah
Mm-hmm.
was
The
helping us
Pharah
finish
was
them off.
like, yeah, aerial superiority.
Yeah, our Pharah was pretty good. I was pretty happy about that. And I'm diving in. He's coming in with me. The Pharah's flying above. The Mercy's flying with them, but she's kind of flying all over the place trying to heal people. And we cruised through the streets phase
Yeah,
pretty
we didn't
easily.
stop.
Yeah, that was easy. And then the third phase is in that little corridor. Might have wanted to switch to Ryan at the very end. We cruised through like three quarters of that final person pretty quickly just because I was diving in deep and I wasn't letting them set up and Doran was matrixing me and killing things and our Far was pushing them back. We never let them once set up. We had them on the ropes the whole time. And so basically me being able to take down the Torb turret pretty much instantly guaranteed us that their Torb wasn't going to be able to do anything. They switched to Bastion. I was jumping on the Bastion, getting my orb on him, getting Matrix out so I didn't die right away because Bastion can do a lot of damage. And basically, once we got towards the end, we ended up losing the fight because I probably should have switched to Ryan just because that's such a tight choke. I ended up dying too quickly. I think we missed a res or we didn't get as much off the res or something. But it's one of those. It's just a really hard choke to get through. And our team was good. Our enemy team was good, so they weren't exactly just giving us any ground. They just had finally got to a portion where they could control. So what ended up happening was we actually didn't end up pushing all the way to that third point, and so we didn't get the full 3 points, which means the enemy team, of course, can come through and actually win the game instead of forcing a draw. So our Lucio started flaming us, basically saying, "Guys, you can't leave us. You can't get off the point." And I'm like, "What?"
What?
I'm
We both
like,
said that at the same time. We're like, what?
I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yo, Tanks, you can't keep going that far." And I'm like, "Yo, dude, I'm Winston. I'm kind of supposed to." And he's like, No, Winston, you're fine. Diva, you can't go that far." I'm like, "Dude, I have a barrier. It's a great barrier, but it gets shut down pretty quickly, especially against a Torb and Orisa. Yeah, I need the Matrix to get back out." And I'm like, "You're Lucio. You can kind of come help me escort out, but you need to be, shuttering around our DPS. Like, the tanks are going to be fine, and we'll come back to you for healing." I think we had a Mercy as well. And he started saying the same thing. It's like, "You guys need to be on the point." I'm like, no. The whole problem that Lucio had was that he was the only one on the point. And I'm like, dude, if you're the only one on the point and you're not getting dove, you're doing the most amazing job. Like a Lucio on the point that can ferry people across and side to side, forward and back a little bit, and keep the payload moving. That's what a Lucio should do. That's good. It's when shit hits the fan and he has to get off the point and ferry people around. It's when like, oh geez, because Lucio, he doesn't have a whole lot of offensive ability. So his main ability is just to move people around and then heal, a bunch of people all at once. So if you're sitting on the payload and we're pushing them off the payload, that gives us a point
Yeah,
for
the
a
enemy team never touched the payload. That's the thing until
not
the
in the
very
deep
end.
space, yeah. Yeah. And so they're getting mad at us. Like, I'm like, were you guys getting dove? Like, if you're getting dove, let me know and I'll jump back there. I mean, the tanks have to work. Like, a diva kind of has to protect everybody. That's what she's really good at. The Winston has to create the space and then come back and finish off things and stuff like that. Like, both tanks have to be kind of everywhere. But because we had them on the ropes the whole time, we're pushing, and they're
I'm not
getting
gonna
mad
go
at
back
us.
to the point.
Yeah, like if they didn't have any dive characters. I think they had a soldier, but he's not a dive character. They switched to a McCree. He's not a dive character. Their Bastion didn't get behind us.
Yep.
So until one of them gets behind us, I can just tank them like in front of the payload and not have to worry about it. It blew my mind. I was like, holy crap, I don't understand. Why are you mad? I'm like, did you die? Like, were you getting dove? And he was just like, you can't be that far off the point. I'm like, bro, we pushed really far in the street space. We did, but that's because they were trickling and me and Doran worked well together. We had a great Farah. Like, I don't understand. It's like the point of a good Winston and a good diva will not die by diving too quickly. They won't. Not at the beginning of the fight. Sometimes you have to dive like a second or a third time in order to finish somebody off. And if a Winston dies in, that's fine because he got somebody with him. So long as he kills somebody, it's okay towards the middle of the end of the fight. But you really need the diva to live the whole time because she's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But it blew my mind. You're too far off the point. That's my job. I don't fight on the point.
Like I hate
defensive Winston
it's a different story.
fights on the point, but
we almost threw it out there. I hated to use the excuse. You ever watched a pro dive team play? Lucio sits on the point the whole time.
Who is it? Is it I think it's Wins. I don't know who he plays for.
Wins plays for Rogue.
Yeah, he like tweets out like whenever
while he's on the
point,
payload.
Anything. It's hilarious. Because there's a reason why it's Lucio, because if you take a Zen, he needs to be doing damage, which means he needs to be following people.
Yep.
If you take an Ana, she needs to be sleeping people and eating people, so she has to follow. But Lucio offers you a point to which, because the cart can only move so fast.
Yep.
You can't, Lucio doesn't speed up the cart. So what that does is that offers you a point. Say, okay, I'm in trouble. I can go back to my Lucio, who can ferry other people around and AoE heal us. So with having the Lucio kind of controlling the point, and he has a boop, so if he gets dove, he boops him away and says, hey, I'm getting dove, and then that boop gives us time to get back and defend him, because you can't lose the payload, obviously.
Right.
I think he was thinking that we just forgot about the payload, and we were just playing for ourselves because we're a duo queue, which I get that, and we've run into that problem before, but that's not what we were doing. I mean, you have to just watch one match in the World Cup, and you'll understand what we were doing. Like, it's really quite simple, and these guys didn't get it. And then like the other guy's trying to defend his buddy, and he was like, "No, dude, that's not. No. You have, he's right. You have to stay on the point." I'm like, "No, you're wrong." And I was so mad because we ended up. I think we lost point A, but it was just happens, and then we trashed them on the streets.
They didn't get anywhere on the streets. They couldn't get around.
Yeah, we trashed them because we knew what we were doing, and I think we were the better team, and I think they were trying to really rely on like shitty setups with like Torbs and Bastions and stuff, when we just didn't let them set up, and we won. And it just blew my mind at how mad those guys got at us. I blocked both of them, of course. I'm like, you are literally stupid. You are what's wrong with the game. People not actually understanding. And I get it. There's really fun. When I say dive comp, not everybody at our level knows what dive comp is or how to play it. They may have heard of it, just they don't know how to play it. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, good lord, like maybe just watch a pro team every now and then. Watch a streamer, like an actually good streamer. Obviously, there's streamers that don't know what they're doing as well. But I'm sorry. If you have anything to say, now it's time to say it, because that was a little rant there for you.
That was quite the game. And you know what, Lax?
We won.
We have had two of these situations where our own team has yelled at us, and yet we have still won.
What was the other situation?
Don't you remember? We talked about it in our last podcast.
Was that no? Oh, I'm not sure I'm remembering.
We were fighting the whole time. We ended up blocking, but yet we still won in overtime. Don't you remember?
Help me remember.
I can't. I think it was Volskaya or something. We ended up holding them to point A.
What were they saying?
They were saying like, we should have a Rhine. We should have a Rhine. We should have a Rhine. Or, our DPS. Oh, that was our DPS. Our DPS is the problem. Switch the DPS. And yet we were winning.
Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't. Okay, I remember exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it was Volskaya, and I think I was on Winston.
I was playing a
Um,
DPS because it,
no,
it.
no. It was me and you on tanks at first. Remember?
Okay.
And then we got the first 2 points, but they were getting really mad. And then we went to offense, and you're like, screw this, I'm picking Pharah. I'm like, yeah, pick Pharah.
Oh yes, yes, yes. I said
I
these
picked Winston.
DPS
The other
aren't
guy goes,
doing.
no, we need a Rhine. So he picks Rhine. I'm like, well, shit, we can't run without a diva. So I play diva, and we just smashed them. And I'm like, God, sometimes just working together and like
Yes.
trusting your teammates, like we've always been saying, just trust your teammates that they know what to do. And if they don't, politely tell them, hey, maybe you want to do this. Oh yeah,
No,
I remember
yeah.
that
They
game.
they flamed me for something,
What
and I
was
don't
it?
remember what it was. I just remember sitting there and going,
I think they were like, you're only matrixing the Winston or something.
"Oh no, I was only matrixing the enemy soldier. I wasn't doing anything else."
Oh, which wasn't true, but you were. I mean, they're so the
It's
Matrix pretty much
kind of one of
holds
the
around the game.
people I should be matrixing. You
Yeah,
know.
like you use the Matrix offensively and defensively to protect your own team and shut down the other team. So
So I
by
got
shutting them down, we were able to focus people down. It was pretty good, I thought.
I got so tilted that I just said fuck it, and I switched to
Fuck it, you
Farah.
went far.
It
Yeah,
just
that
went
was
Farah.
correct.
We just blew through him so quickly,
Yeah,
and I was
they
like,
picked
okay.
Ryan, and the Ryan didn't do anything, and
I just
it
went
was
around
pretty.
there Rhine the whole game. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, it was pretty great. It was pretty great.
So
Oh
it's
man,
so stupid.
it's just in this current meta, highly mobile tanks, Winston Diva, are really good, and having support that work well with that is really good as well. As much as I don't like Mercy, Mercy works really well with them because she flies around very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Zen and Lucio are really good. Zen's not very mobile, but his Discord is really good with Winston and with Genji and stuff like that. And obviously, Lucio is just insane. Um, and is good too. You just have to be really, really skilled right now to play her, which is why you see pro teams take Anna on dive because they do have that high level of skill to where they
Yeah.
can keep up with because she doesn't have any movement of mobility, but her E ability is really good. Sleeping people is really good. So combining that with a really good dive team and like a really highly skilled Anna it makes for really good games. Um, it's just there are times when you don't want to play the current meta, and there are times when like a Torb is insane or when a Junkrat is actually really good. Um, but if it's not those specific times, then it's really not. You really kind of should just stick to what you know. And I feel like the DPS is kind of one of those areas where you can be a little bit more liberal with,
Mm-hmm.
um, because you can taking a soldier on attack. He's an offensive character and he's good on attack. He's just better on defense. Um, but like you don't have to take just Genji Tracer. You can take a Reaper now. We all know Reaper is really good. You can still take Pharah.
Yeah, that reminds me. I gotta say, Lucio Reaper is quite intimidating to go
Oh yeah,
against.
oh yeah.
A speed
Speed boosted
boosted
Reaper.
Reaper is quite scary. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh yeah. That's um that's why I think that this current meta is going to stay the way it is for a while because if teams start to go death ball, a Reaper's going to kind of wreck them.
Yeah.
Just because he can get pocketed pretty easily. Every time that we've played against a Reaper, he's usually getting pocketed. If you can isolate a Reaper, honestly, your best bet is to have a DPS just try to 1v1 him. He's a really good duelist, but you just have to get at you have to hit him before he hits you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why Winston can avoid him and Diva can avoid him, but neither of those two can really deal with him. It's kind of like a group effort to deal with him, kind of like how Farah is. Um, I think the community is just going to take a while to get used to him. But I really think the DPS you can fit almost any DPS that I can think. McCree's in a bad spot right now. It's just the meta's not really working out for him, unfortunately. He's better. He's better than he used to be. But like with the tanks, I mean, Winston Diva is just insane right now, and obviously Arissa is good on like point like a capture point defense. I feel bad for Zarya, but she's just having a tough time.
She
Um,
is, and she's gonna be so good when Doomfist comes out.
yeah, I think so. And then Ryan's having a tough time as well, but I think with these buffs it'll be a little bit better. So like we just said, like with tanks, you have to kind of push forward. You have to hit them before they hit you, or else you're just on the back foot. And that goes for
Especially the
offense
two
and
dive
defense.
tanks.
Yeah, like they need to be in the thick of it, you know. And if your backline's getting dove, then your tanks go back with you, and that's what they do. Your DPS, because I mean, Soldier obviously can survive on his own, but Genji and Tracer have such high mobility that they can get in, try to get a kill, and if not, they can come back to their tanks or come back to their support. So that's where the current meta is. I think some. Here's the thing. Previously, we saw a kind of reliance on healers. I say healers very specifically here. The
You're
previous
referring to
meta,
Anna.
I'm referring to Anna and at the lower ranks, Mercy. Um, we kind of saw in the previous couple metas that people really kind of relied on their healers to kind of get them out of a sticky situation.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, we're starting to see that if you have a really good like Lucio and Zen pair, you don't need burst healing. You just need to kill them quicker than they kill you.
Right, sustainable healing.
Exactly. So like an orb actually, the Zenyatta orb goes a long way surprisingly.
It does,
Um,
man. You can't kill a Genji who's ulting with if he has the orb on him. It's really hard
yeah,
to do.
it's actually legit. And so I think what this meta has kind of exposed is that a lot of people relied on that burst healing, and actually kind of the better way to play currently is having a skilled DPS that can survive on their own with very minimal healing. And what does that minimal healing allow? That allows for your support characters to do a whole lot more. It allows for your tank characters not have to tank in the face a lot, which means Winston and Diva have a lot better, which is why they're a lot better right now. Because Winston doesn't want to be taking damage straight to the face. He has 500 health, but he doesn't have a
Still
lot of
not a
ways
good
to protect
idea.
himself. Yeah, like I mean, his barrier is good, but his barrier is a zoning kind of barrier, and it can't move it, and it only lasts a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And Diva's Matrix is an amazing ability, but it's narrow and it's limited. So you can't tank in the face anymore. And I think this is why I love this meta, because it exposes those that don't take the game serious enough to play as a team and to play well. If you're a soldier and you just run in constantly in front of your tanks, which I see all the time in gold, if you run in front of your tanks and you try to start the fight yourself, you're gonna die. And then you drop your healing down, but then they force you off it, and you run back to your healers and you're like, heal me, heal me. I'm sorry, you're doing your job wrong. And so that's why I really like this current meta, because it's exposed this kind of reliability, or this reliance upon healing, rather than having good support players that help your team out.
Mm-hmm.
Having an Anna that can E, and having a Zen that can pop off and throw discords, having a Lucio to ferry people around, which is personally why I don't like Mercy that much, because I don't think she offers that much in terms of support. Now, she is still good if unfortunately your team is just not playing well in terms of they're going to need that burst healing, then you might want to switch to Mercy, and in some cases switch to Anna. Because if I'm an Anna player and I have to I'm constantly shooting people, constantly eating my own team, because they're all about to die, man, that just you're not doing much then.
Yeah.
You don't have any impact on the opposition. So having a full like 5-6 characters that can impact the opposition is insane to me, and that's why I really like this meta. Part 2 of the rant. There you go.
Part 2 of the rant. But no, it was true. It was good support players were carrying teams.
Oh yeah.
And everybody was just relying on Anna to get her nano boost, and then you just go in and shred.
Yeah.
So, but now it's coming down to a lot more skill-based combat instead of just poking until ults are ready.
And a lot of game sense and game awareness, knowing that
sure.
if you lost 2 people at the start of the fight, it's not worth it to try to finish that fight out. And if you go in and you kill their Rhine, but then they kill your Anna and your soldier, those aren't favorable trades. Like, tanks are probably your last thing to try to kill. It depends, obviously, especially depending on what rank you're in as well. But it's exposed things like that. It's exposed the reliance on healing. It's exposed just poor team communication. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many times we've entered into games where nobody wants to talk, and Anna randomly nano boosts you, and you're just like, what the heck? Like, you gotta let me. I can't. I think we were playing in a game where like she gives it to me randomly, and an Nanoed Winston's pretty good. And I'm just like, I'm not in any sort of position to be getting value out of your Nano right now. We
Or the
probably just
Anna who
wasted that.
nanoed me after I used my tactical visor.
Yeah, like things like that.
I was
And
like,
you're
oh
just like,
yes, now is the perfect time to use this.
gosh,
I'm
and
so
like,
glad. I can't
and
shoot shit now.
yeah, and it's like we've come across games where we feel like these are two evenly matched teams, but we just get wrecked because nobody wants to communicate. Our backline's getting dove, and nobody's saying our backline's getting dove.
Well, they
You
type
know,
it when they die.
or yeah, or they're typing it. And I'm like, guys, you can't. Like, this isn't how it works. You can't. You can't be trying to do crazy things and then type and think it's gonna work. You know, like, oh, it bothers me. But I think obviously in the lower ranks, like things aren't really gonna change a whole lot. But especially on the pro scene and the higher ranks, we kind of see how you kind of see these more nuanced ways of playing and more skill based ways of playing, which I think is really good, which is why I like this meta a lot. I know a lot of not necessarily pro players, but like bigger players say they hate this, and I think it's because it kind of exposed that you can't be an amazing soldier and just run in and get a bunch of kills and run out and be like, look at me, I'm so good. You actually have to like play as a team. Same thing with like Genji and Hanzo and all these characters. So
Definitely. I think that this kind of goes in with the World Cup because last year when the World Cup was going on, it was a whole different ball game.
oh
It
yeah,
was triple tank meta, and that is how you played the game. And
oh yeah,
now we're seeing, like, everybody's kind of gotten used to dive, but dive hasn't been the meta for very long.
yeah. That was like
So,
an option you could pick a while ago.
yeah, you could
Or
try it out, but triple tank would just eat through all of its damage with the healing.
yeah, hmm
So, it's been interesting with the World Cup. So,
yeah. Do you want to go into that now?
yeah, let's go ahead. Let's talk about the World Cup. Did you watch? What games have you watched?
I haven't kept up for a while, but I know I did see the Finland versus Vietnam game, which I thought
Ah,
was
that's the
really
one
good.
I watched.
Yeah, I
Everybody's
thought
got
that
to
was
watch
really good.
Taimu.
Yeah, everybody's got to watch
Got to
that.
watch
Pretty
Taimu
good.
popping off on McCree on Ilios.
Yeah,
My God. Oh
yeah.
no 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 no. Let's talk about his Widow plays too
Oh my
on
god, yeah, that's
Ilios.
insane.
That was insane. Like, oh no, I like the casters. Monte Cristo was like, oh no, I've cursed him. I've caster cursed him, and then he just picked this. Was it the Lucio? Something like that. He just popped off on the Lucio, and then he headshot the Tracer as the Tracer was teleporting right at him. Kind of like that famous scene
Oh
from
yeah,
from Dorado that Taimu got
yeah,
really
yeah,
known for. So
yeah.
similar thing happened there. Um, so far, Japan, I should throw out, by the way.
It looked good.
Japan looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think they were going to do anything against Spain. Spain has, and this is so funny because I would never say Spain has anything to do with esports. They have some very good players that are from Spain. They have Harry Hook,
Yeah, Harry looks really
Dak.
good.
Harry Hook is,
That's
I
very
love
good.
Harry Hook. He's
Yeah.
great. He plays for Envious.
Oh yeah.
He's, I don't know if they consider him, he's their team captain, but he's their soldier main, and I really like him a lot. You
Does he
know,
play something else as well?
he plays a lot of Lucio
Yeah, he flexes for them because
because
Chips Highland is
they have Taimu is
yeah,
the
'cause
thing.
Chips is really good. He can play almost any support. So if
Yeah,
they need to go to like single healer, then he takes that, and then Harry goes over to soldier. That's right. Yeah.
right. Yeah, but Harry does play a lot of Lucio too. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
so really impressed with Japan because they didn't steamroll like Finland did,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd have to say I was kind
They look
of
good.
a little bit shocked that Spain did not do as well as they were. I don't
Yeah.
know if they've not had enough time to practice with each other
Yeah, that might
or
be it.
whatnot, because I know that's a big issue with these pro teams. Because Envious has been in South Korea for the past
Yeah.
couple of months playing in Apex, and now they're
Yeah.
here. So I don't know. It's been good. It's all been dive. The only variations we're seeing is Anna and trading out pharmacy for certain maps.
hmm
Is there any analysis you want to do?
Not really. You're kind of seeing pretty much what you'd expect.
We are
I
still in
think,
group stage 2, by the way.
yeah. So China and Norway won Group A. China went 3-0. That was
Yes,
pretty much
expected.
expected.
Expected. They are
Um,
phenomenal.
yeah. Hong Kong was knocked out, and Romania, which was expected, was also knocked out. But Romania and Norway were pretty close, but Norway did pull away
Norway's
from
got
that.
more
And,
practice.
yeah. Group B, France and Thailand won. My boy Mickey came out with Thailand.
Mickey,
Proud. Proud.
the most
Um,
energetic diva on the planet.
I mean, they barely beat out Denmark by one game. So, and like Denmark was ranked 9 and Thailand was ranked 24. So that was pretty surprising. Um, so good for them. Thailand seems to be one of those teams that they might not be very technically skilled, but they work really well together.
Yes, they do
So that
communicate
works,
very well.
which is interesting because France is
Is Rogue.
is rogue. So they of course they work very well together, and they 3-0'd their group, so they're going through as well. So
I mean,
um,
I expected nothing less.
yeah, so watch for them to do very good along the line. So we have 4 teams through so far. Group C and D are playing currently. In Group C, we have Australia, Sweden, Portugal, and Italy. Australia is currently at top with 1 win. They 4-0'd.
I'm very surprised.
They
They've
4-0'd
got
Italy,
a
I think.
good team.
Yeah, they're not bad. Sweden drew against Portugal,
Yes.
and that was a pretty interesting match because Sweden's technically number 4, and they have a pretty good team.
I know they got IDDQD popping off a lot. But do you
Um,
think these teams are like just relying on their Taimus, their Harry Hooks, their IDDQDs? Do you think they're just
Maybe.
relying on them too much?
Yeah, I mean on Sweden they do have Chips Hyam, but he's there's only so much a support can do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what he's playing for them. So I think it kind of depends on where the teams where those like superstars are playing. If they're playing in the support, there's only so much they can do. If they're playing tank, there's a pretty good amount that they can do, and if they're obviously playing DPS, then they can do a lot. Um, but it was kind of surprising to see Sweden draw like that. But it happens. I think I think you'll see Sweden kind of pull that one out though, and I guess Australia looks pretty good. So if they keep it up, they can probably win Group C as well. Portugal, they looked pretty good, mainly because I mean they went up against Sweden, which I would say is a better team. But they looked good. They don't really have any names that stand out, and then Italy's pretty good as well. So yeah, so that's Group C. It's kind of that they don't have any big names. They're not China or South Korea, and they're not Taimu or any of these guys. So,
Mm-hmm.
but there's like I've always been saying, if you want to watch high level Overwatch, watch the World Cup, watch any tournament VODs that you can. When we talk about the current meta, this is what we're talking about. We're not even talking about Grandmaster and Master games because there are some stupid people in Master and Grandmaster, some phenomenal people and some stupid people. Like I was watching, there's a Torb main in GM right now.
Mm-hmm.
He offense and defense Torb. Like he only plays Torb.
Yeah, he's one tricking it.
I get it, and it's just so funny because you see like I watch a couple like pro players that like do a little bit of streams of them like because they're tank players and I just want to see how the tanks are playing right now. And he was like, I don't understand why this guy has a 48% win rate and he's in GM. And he plays like all the time, and he just plays Torb. I'm like, holy crap!
Didn't they say that if you just grind it enough, you'll eventually
yeah,
get there
well,
as a one trick?
yeah, as a one trick, if you're a flex player, you need an over 50% win rate.
Yeah.
Which there's an argument that flexing will get you an over 50% win rate because you're picking what the team. So long as you are good and you actually pick what the team actually needs rather than just picking whatever you want to play.
Right.
But if you one trick the way the SR system, I mean, do you want to get into the SR system? We've kind of covered it before.
Yeah, real quick.
We can talk about it real quick.
Here
Yeah.
is what Doran suggests to Blizzard. Dear Jeff, please pay attention.
So basically, the SR system currently, after the end of a match, it compares your stats to the rest of the people playing your characters. Let's say I play
On the same map at the same rank.
Exactly. So let's say I'm a McCree god, right? And let's say I got placed in gold because somebody screwed up my placements, but I'm a McCree god. Doesn't matter my win rate. Doesn't matter how terrible McCree is currently. If I pick McCree and I get gold damage and gold limbs, it compares that and a couple other statistics to all the other McCrees that are playing at my rank, and it's saying you're a lot better then the McCree's at this rank, we're going to give you more SR for every win, and we're going to give you less SR for every loss, which means if I win a game, I might get 20, 30 points. And if I lose a game, I get 15. So with that difference, yes, even if I lose more games than I win, because I'm gaining more SR than I'm losing, I will consistently grind. Now you can't play a game or two a day and try to one trick the GM. That's going to take you too long. It might not even happen. But if you play a lot during every day and you're one tricking, because it compares you against other people, then you can eventually gain more SR than you would lose. Now, if you are a flex player like myself and Doran as well, what happens is it tries to compare your stats to other people that played those characters, but it doesn't make a difference to how much time you put in. It does per 10-minute interval, but
A lot of matches don't go that long.
Exactly. The per term 10-minute interval doesn't really make that much of a difference. So let's say I pick Winston, but I notice nothing is dying. And I'm just like, what the hell? Nothing is dying. And I'm saying, all right, screw you guys. I'm going to go soldier because let's say we didn't have a soldier. I go soldier and I just start lighting everything up. But because I came in late to the game, I end up with maybe like bronze damage. But it's comparing me to other Winstons that had the same amount of time that got gold damage and other soldiers that got gold damage. So even though we won, I might only get 10, 15 SR because the system's basically calculating and saying, you guys won, so I'm going to give you SR, but I don't think you're that good because you're not as good as the other guys at your rank. So I'm going to give you some SR, but I'm not going to give you a lot of SR.
So example,
go ahead.
That story that we mentioned earlier, when I got so tilted that I switched to Pharah after playing a tank for the first round. When we went to the second round and I played Pharah, I screwed myself over on the SR, basically.
Yeah.
That's why I have a problem with this system.
Yeah, because it doesn't necessarily. I mean, it doesn't hurt the flex player. It just makes it a little bit more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Because you also don't lose a lot of SR. You still lose SR when you lose, obviously, but you don't. If you're trying to one trick, it's not as bad, but it's more even if you're flexing. So I'm gonna gain about as much as I lose, roughly speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't necessarily hurt the flex player, but what it does is it promotes one tricking, and that's very toxic because it's gonna decay because everybody gets the same win or loss in your group, in your team when you play. So I might be coming in with a 55% win rate on Winston, but if I switch, I'm getting screwed over out of the SR I would gain. And if I lose, I'm going to tank that win rate. So even though I'm making the right call, because he's not switching and he's, maybe he's not doing good and he's having an off game, but he won't switch because it's going to hurt him if he switches, then I'm getting screwed over in the process. So the system it promotes one tricking. And there are people that should really only play Widow because they have insane aim. And there are some people that should only play Winston because they have absolutely insane game sense. I get that. But then there are people that think they are that good and they're not that good. We've talked about Mercy mains before. Mercy mains, I love you. I love you to death. I love it when you heal me. I love it when you get fat reses. But you're playing a character that doesn't have a lot of utility, and sometimes we just don't need her. And I love your Mercy mains, but sometimes playing the Lucio, playing the Zen, or playing the Ana is better. But you don't want to, and I don't blame you. I'm thinking, I've thought about it before. Why not just play Mercy for a while and just get my rank up for a bit? But I mean, obviously, the flex player in my heart says that's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's frustrating, and we're both frustrated. And you can watch any streamer or any pro player that streams, and they say pretty much the same thing. So it's very frustrating because pro players, I mean, other than DPS, just because they're trying to keep their skills on top, pro tanks and pro supports, they'll switch around just because that's kind of what they do for their team anyways. So they get really frustrated because even though they have a pro contract, they still need to keep their skills sharp, and you want to keep your ranking up because you want people to actually respect you, and where push comes to shove, if you have to sign with a different organization, you want to be able to prove to them, oh, I am this good and this kind of stuff. And other people that are currently trying to sign with the pro team, If they don't, if they're one tricking, that's great, but like teams don't want to see a one trick. They want to see you be able to play a couple different positions.
Yep.
Like for example, Coco for Envious plays pretty much only Winston, but I'm sure if you put him on Diva, he'll do a pretty good job. So I think I actually saw a game when he was Diva or something. So the current system just kind of really screws over the flex players, not directly by affecting their SR, but affecting their win rates and affecting like how the community perceives how they should be playing one tricking versus playing as a team and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. My suggestion, and a couple other YouTubers have said this, if we change it up so that the current SR system stays until Diamond. Once you hit Diamond, you should have an idea of how to play the game, and I move that we change it so that after Diamond, when you win a game, you get 25 SR. When you lose a game, you lose 25 SR. And that's it. Because you know how to play the game after that point. So it shouldn't matter how much you're flexing, how much you're changing. If you win, you get 25 SR. If you lose, you lose 25.
Win versus loss scenario.
That's it. Game. That's it. But I don't think Blizzard's going to do that. I think they're working on something else.
I think they're gonna try to find some way to appease both parties. I think so. They're gonna try to find a way to allow people to one trick and do well as allow people to play as a team and do well. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but I think they want to find a kind of a balance to where somebody can pick. I think this goes in with the meta as well, but somebody can pick a one trick hero and do well in their team, but if they still end up losing, then they don't lose as much, and the other team and the other players on the team don't lose that much. I think that's what they're probably shooting for, because you don't want to alienate. I don't know what percentage of people are actual one tricks. Probably maybe like I'd say 20-30%, maybe less, maybe more. But you don't want to alienate them. You don't want them to stop playing because that's your base. You might have people still buying loot boxes from them and stuff like that. So. I think they do really care about the game. As being somebody who has designed a program before, whoever designed the algorithm for the SR system is probably proud of it, to be honest. Thinks, or the group probably thinks it's really good. So it might be kind of one of those stand by your man type scenarios, Yeah. I don't care. Jeff might be like, if he would ever respond to my emails, he might just be like, I understand your grievances, but we believe in this SR system. We're going to stick with it because, designing a whole new one would be tough. I think they could invest in it, no problem. But you don't want those guys who design it don't want their work to be shut down.
Yeah, for nothing.
I think it's healthy criticism, and I think the more we talk about it, the more likely it would be that Blizzard do something about it.
I agree. But as it stands right now, we'll just have to see.
Yeah. But oh well, we keep grinding no matter what.
That's right. We fight the good fight. We keep moving.
Fight the good fight.
We do what we can,
We can only do so much. We can only carry so hard. Oh, by the way, I just gotta throw this out. I carried today as Torb. I played a little bit of quick play, and I got like 4 kills in a row. Just gotta throw that out there. Torb is pretty powerful. Not gonna lie.
God.
Don't play him on offense.
Why you gotta say that to the 12 people that are gonna watch this? We're hurting the economy, the community.
Torb on point A is actually kind of legit.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you.
If you lose that first fight, even on a 2CP map, you kind of don't want him on point B, just because it's usually a little bit more tighter. Yeah, point A Torb's kind of legit. Anywhere else, he's kind of terrible.
Yeah, Streets phase Torb is useless.
Oh yeah.
Any and all Street phases, Torb is utterly useless.
Yup.
So, all right. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
I think that's it. Go and watch some World Cup games, guys.
Enjoy the World Cup.
Overwatch. Yeah.
Definitely, because it's getting good.
Getting real good.
All right.
We got quite a bit more because we haven't even seen South Korea play.
Yep, that's right. South
we
Korea.
Haven't seen the U.S. play either because the U.S. is ranked number 3, so I'm excited for that as well.
That's right. We got the big contenders are going to be coming up pretty soon.
The big boys.
The big boys, the guys who will probably go to the finals. So,
Yep.
all right. Thank you guys so much for listening today to this podcast. It was episode number 8. A lot of different stuff we covered. You can find all our social media down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It always helps us out with that and whatnot. You can also follow us on Twitch. We do stream a couple nights a week. We do stream Overwatch and other games whenever Doran finds the time to do that. So, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.